Hello, welcome to another fantasy football tournament series number 95. This is the Indian Ocean Cup, nations that share a geographic border with the large entity of water known as the Indian Ocean that spans several thousand miles between Australia, as eastward as Australia, and as westward as the East African coast. Um, so, not every single nation in the world that has the Indian Ocean by it is represented here because it would be just too large of a tournament. So I've gone with 16 nations, 4 groups of 4, spread across 2 different continents, Asia and Africa. Technically 3 since Australia is its own continent. And I've gone with one host nation, and it is India. India are hosting the Indian Ocean Cup. So let's just jump right in. You know the rules already. These are the groups. I had to make some of these flags in the last couple of days for this tournament specifically. I didn't have Myanmar, Maldives, Bangladesh, Comoros, or Tanzania. So these are new additions. I think these are the first tournaments that these nations will be participating in, and only Malaysia's second after the Antipodes Cup. So in Group A, we have India, Mozambique, Mauritius, and Malaysia. In Group B, we have South Africa, Thailand, Myanmar, and the Maldives. In Group C, we have Australia, Tanzania, Comoros, and Bangladesh. And in Group D, we have Madagascar, Singapore, Somalia, and Oman. So, without further ado, opening match between India and Mozambique. Unfortunately for India, I don't think home advantage helps them. They're off to a really exceptionally poor start in World Cup qualifying, including draws to Bangladesh and Afghanistan. I'm going with a 2-0 win for the Lusophone, Portuguese-speaking nation, African nation of Mozambique. 2-0 in the opening match. It will be an opening loss for the Blue Tigers. Between Mauritius and Malaysia, well, look, Malaysia is doing quite decently in their World Cup qualifying group. Very competitive, along with Vietnam, Thailand, whom they beat, and the United Arab Emirates. I don't suspect they'll reach the next round, but they're putting in a decent accounting of themselves. And Mauritius is a minnow of the African continent. So I'm going to go with a victory here for Malaysia. I think we would be mostly in agreement with that. I will say it'll be a comfortable victory for Malaysia, 4-1. Then we have India versus Mauritius, and Malaysia versus Mozambique. When will these teams ever play each other? That's the beauty of fantasy football tournaments. India versus Mauritius. India wins this match 3-0. So they still remain alive in this tournament. Malaysia versus Mozambique. I'm going to go with a victory here for Mozambique by a scoreline of 3-2. I think it'll be a relatively close match. Mozambique is not among the top-tiered sides in Africa. They missed out on the most recent AFCON, but this is a tournament that comprises of mostly weak nations, and I think Mozambique would be favorites to go on to top this group with maximum points. So I'm going to go with a 3-2 win over Malaysia. And the final match day, we have Mozambique versus Mauritius and Malaysia versus India. Going to go with 3 wins out of 3 for Mozambique to top this group. And they win this match 4-1. Malaysia versus what was I going to say? Malaysia versus India. You know what? I just don't like the way that India look right now. They're still winless in their World Cup qualifying campaign. And Malaysia, they've been improving. I know India's at home here, but I just lost a lot of confidence in India. I thought they would do much better in their qualifying group. Not even a particularly challenging one, just Oman and Qatar, who's already guaranteed to qualify for the World Cup as the host nation. I mean, they're struggling in a group with Afghanistan and Bangladesh, and I think another minnow I don't remember off the top of my head. So I'm gonna say Malaysia wins this match 2-1. So Mozambique tops this group on 9 points. I got white out on my desk. Malaysia comes in second on 6 points. Host nation India, it's not enough. 3 points and out. Mauritius in last on 0 points. So India and Mauritius are out. Mozambique and Malaysia go through. Then we have Group B, South Africa versus Thailand, Myanmar versus the Maldives. South Africa, Bafana Bafana versus the War Elephants of Thailand. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win for South Africa, and between Myanmar and the Maldives, going to go with a 3-1 win for Myanmar. South Africa versus Myanmar, and the Maldives versus Thailand. I'm going to go with I'll say a 5-0 win for South Africa over Myanmar. 4-0. 4-0 win for South Africa over Myanmar, and a 3-0 win for Thailand over the Maldives. Then we have, Thailand versus Myanmar, Southeast Asian clash. And we have the Maldives versus South Africa. So, we'll go with a 2-1 win for Thailand over Myanmar. And for South Africa versus the Maldives, going to say a 6-0, a 5-1 win for South Africa. I think Maldives can get a goal, but no, wait, what am I saying? South Africa's probably, or at least, if not Australia or Oman, probably the best team in this tourney. So 5-0 for South Africa. So South Africa comfortably tops this group without conceding any goals. 9 points. In second, strong second, comes Thailand on 6 points. Then it's Myanmar on 3 points. Then it's the Maldives on 0 points. So Myanmar and the Maldives are out. Sounds like a band name. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Myanmar and the Maldives. Anyway, so South Africa and Thailand go through. Moving on to Group C, we have Australia versus Tanzania, Comoros versus Bangladesh. So Tanzania, they qualified for the AFCON for the first time in 30-plus years, but they were among the weakest sides in that tournament. They were in the same group as the two eventual finalists, Senegal and Algeria. But they're not a strong side. They scraped past the first round of Qatar 2022 qualifying against neighbors Burundi on penalties. So Australia, but I think Tanzania do have a goal, maybe even 2 in them for this match. I'm going to go with a high-scoring 6-2, a little bit unconventional, 6-2 victory for Australia over Tanzania. Then Comoros, hey, keep an eye on the Comoros guys the last couple of years. They've been producing some shocks. They drew with Cameroon and Morocco in AFCON 2019 qualifying. They drew with Egypt last month in 2021 African Cup of Nations qualifying. They look like a team that could become a debutante. They look like they could become a debutante in the next AFCON. They win this match over Bangladesh, and I think they win this match 3-0 over Bangladesh. We have Australia versus Comoros, Bangladesh versus Tanzania. My Tanzania flag is not flat for some reason. It's not staying down. Australia versus Comoros. I'm gonna go with a a 2-0 win for Australia. I don't think it'll be. I think it'll be really hard fought. I rate Comoros. Think they might be. Um, they're a team in Africa right now that I think could be the surprise package of the next AFCON, like how Madagascar were for this year. So yeah, Bangladesh versus Tanzania. I'm gonna go with a victory for Tanzania by a 4-0 scoreline. And then the last set of games in this group would be, what would they be? Would be Tanzania versus Comoros and Bangladesh versus Australia. Tell you what, I've been singing their praises so far. So Comoros wins this match against Tanzania. I really believe it. Um, a 2-1 win for Comoros. And between Bangladesh and Australia, gonna go with a they'll rest up some players, so a 4-0 win for Australia. So Australia wins the group on 9 points. Comoros comes in second on 6 points. Tanzania in third on 3 points. Bangladesh in last on 0 points. So Tanzania and Bangladesh are out. Australia and Comoros go through. In the last group, we have Madagascar versus Singapore. And we have Somalia versus Oman. I think this is actually the most difficult group. Madagascar, quarterfinalists in the AFCON 2019, lost out to Tunisia. And you have Singapore, who, like I mentioned earlier with Malaysia, they're in a very difficult group themselves with Saudi Arabia, Uzbekistan, Palestine, and Yemen. Singapore has, I believe, 6 or 7 points from their first few games of qualifying, so they've been rather competitive in their own respect. But Madagascar wins this match. And Madagascar wins this match 2-0. Somalia, they surprised Zimbabwe in the first leg of the first round of African World Cup qualifying with a victory 1-0 at home before losing 3-0 or 3-1 in Harare in the away leg. They upset Burundi most recently, I think, in the East African Cup, as one of my subscribers, Adam Bashir, pointed out. But Oman is still a vastly superior side. So Oman wins this match 3-1, I'll say. 3-1 for Oman. Madagascar versus Somalia, and Oman versus Singapore. We have Madagascar and Somalia. I'm gonna go with a 4-1 win for Madagascar. And between Oman and Singapore, gonna go with a victory for Oman. But I think it's gonna be just 1-0, honestly. 1-0 over Singapore, which gives us the last match day of Singapore versus Somalia, Oman versus Madagascar. And I'm going to go with, I still want to see more from Somalia. I'm not entirely sold on them yet. I like how Southeast Asia has been performing so far in the qualifiers, not making it easier for some of the bigger powerhouse teams in East Asia and West Asia. I'm going to say Singapore wins this match over Somalia 3-2. And between Oman and Madagascar, I'm going to go with a 0-0 draw. I think it'll be a 0-0 draw. So that means who wins the group? No, I changed my mind. I think it's going to be 1-0 for Madagascar to keep the story moving along. The Cinderella story, so to speak. So Madagascar tops this group. Though I do think Oman's a better team. I mean, this happens in tournaments as well. We saw Madagascar defeated Nigeria this summer, topped their group ahead of the Super Eagles, and the Super Eagles went on to reach the semifinals. So it happens. So I think I changed it. Madagascar beats Oman 1-0. Gets 9 points. Oman comes in. Yeah, Madagascar beats Oman 1-0. 9 points, 6 for Oman, 3 for Singapore, and 0 for Somalia. No draws in the group stages, 9-6-3-0 all the way through. Singapore and Somalia are out. Madagascar and Oman go through. Let's get to the quarterfinals. The quarterfinals, I have Group A winners, Mozambique, versus the Group B runners-up, Thailand. I have Group C winners. South Africa. Wait, let me check my notebook to see if this is correct. No, Australia's Group C winners. Group C winners, Australia. There we go. Versus the Group D runners-up, Oman. And then the other side of the bracket, I have Group B winners, South Africa. Versus the Group A runners-up, Malaysia. And then Group D winners, Madagascar. Versus Group C runners-up, Comoros. So, we just double check to see if this is correct. It is correct. So, first quarterfinal between Mozambique and Thailand. I'm gonna say the War Elephants will take this one. Thailand, they earlier this year in the Asian Cup, they came very close to getting to the quarters. They relented a 1-0 lead against China, who came from behind to win 2-1. They finished second in their group ultimately, behind the host nation UAE. Mozambique, while they're not among the lower tiered African sides, they're still not in the upper bracket. So you have, for example, 55 member associations in Africa. Mozambique is probably among the 20 bottom ones. And I think it sets up for an enticing all-Asian semifinal with whoever they play against either Australia or Oman. So I think Thailand's got this over Mozambique. And so I'm going to say they win this match. They win this match 1-1, and then on penalties, Thailand gets to the semifinals. Australia versus Oman. Going to go with a 2-0 win for Australia. Other side of the bracket, South Africa versus Malaysia. Going to go with a 4-1 win for South Africa. Then we have Madagascar versus Comoros, two neighboring countries in the off the coast of East Africa, in the Western Indian Ocean. Some familiarity here, but Madagascar wins this match 2-1 over Comoros. So the semifinals are Thailand of the Indian Ocean Cup. Thailand versus Australia. South Africa versus Madagascar. So it's an Asia versus Asia and Africa versus Africa, which guarantees us an Asia versus Africa final. So Thailand versus Australia. Thailand actually held Australia to 2 draws in 2018 World Cup qualifying, both in Melbourne and in Bangkok. But Australia, the Socceroos, have a little bit too much quality here in a competitive knockout stage game against Thailand. I'm not prepared to pick Thailand to come through to the final. Australia, South Africa, and Oman are the best teams of this tournament. Oman is already out due to the structure of the bracket. So I'm going to go for Australia to win this match by a scoreline of 3-0 over Thailand. I think it'll be relatively comfortable, though Thailand has given Australia troubles in the recent past. So Australia goes to the final. Thailand is out into the third place game. South Africa versus Madagascar has all the makings for an upset, but I'm going to show Nelson Mandela's country some respect here and say they will get to the final to have a showdown against the Aussies. South Africa wins this match by a scoreline of, I'd say 1-0. 1-0. I do rate Madagascar highly, and based on what they did in the AFCON. So the third place game between Thailand and Madagascar, I'm going to go for Madagascar to win this. And it'll be a 2-1 win in extra time. So Madagascar comes in third in this tournament. Thailand will come in fourth. Madagascar in third. The final of the Indian Ocean Cup. Remember, guys, the winner, since this is a body of water tournament, goes on to qualify for the Seven Seas Cup of Champions. The other two that I've made, the Mediterranean Sea, Italy were the champions of that. The Arabian Sea, Iran were the champions of that. So the winner of this goes on to play along the likes of Italy and Iran. This is the third installment of the Seven Seas tournament. There's still 4 more to go. We have the Atlantic Ocean, the Pacific Ocean, the Arctic Ocean, and the Bay of Bengal. Those are collectively referred to as the 7 seas of the world. So who is it going to be? Is it going to be the Socceroos or Bafana Bafana? It is going to be Australia. Australia wins the final by, I'll say this is a 1-1 draw, and Australia wins on penalties. So Australia wins the Indian Ocean Cup. This is Australia's first victory, or second victory, in the fantasy football tournament series. So that's how it ends. Australia wins the tournament. They qualify for the Seven Seas Cup along with Italy and Iran. So Australia in first, South Africa in second, Madagascar in third, Thailand in fourth. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe. Hopefully I'll see you guys soon, God willing. Until then, as always, have a good one. Much love and peace out.